Good afternoon, Martree. It's Matt Wright, Superintendent of Martree School District. I hope everybody's doing well, staying safe. The start of school is quickly approaching. We've got a lot happening. It's going to be super busy around here for the next 3 weeks. But today's Monday, so it's the Monday update. Let me begin by telling you that we will post our return to learning plan tomorrow on our webpage and on our Facebook page. I'm going to cover most of that material today, but not all of it. Now, we'll mail our plan out on August the 10th. So you may think, why are you posting this information, but yet you're going to wait another week before you mail it out? Folks, even now, 3 weeks away from school starting, things change every day. We are waiting until the 10th because we want to be able to provide you with the most accurate information that we possibly can. This week, we know that we're going to receive updates on band, choir, and sports, and I'm sure that there'll be more. And so those who might not have internet, the only time that they will hear from us between now and school might be when they get this in the mail. And so we want to wait as long as we possibly can so that we can provide everybody with the most up-to-date information. So make sure that you're looking for that in the mail. Now, I need to continue to stress, folks, we've got to have accurate contact information. Please call our elementary and our high school office. Update your information if you have moved or changed your phone numbers over the course of the past year. We will also start sending out our weekly text messages that we were doing last year before COVID-19 hit. That's going to start in the next couple of weeks. You don't want to miss that, but we can't share it with you if we don't have an accurate number to send those text messages to. So please, please, please make sure we've got accurate information. So let's talk about some of the material of our return to learning plan. The first thing that is in our return to learning plan is Martree School District has a COVID-19 hotline. Should your student receive a positive test for COVID-19, you should immediately call our COVID-19 hotline. The number for this hotline is 870-375-2266. This number is going to be monitored 24 hours a day, nights and weekends. This line is only for positive tests. Should you not be able to reach this line, you can call the Martree Police Department at 358-2024. Let them know you couldn't reach the COVID-19 hotline, and they will know who they need to contact so that they can update us. Now, as I've said, this line is going to be monitored on nights and weekends, but it's only for positive tests. They will not answer questions. They won't talk about possible school closings. They simply need to know that you have a positive test. They will notify us, and then we'll begin doing what we need to do within our protocol. So tests is something else that we talk about. I can't imagine 10 o'clock, being at work, getting a phone call saying one of your students, they're running a temperature, you might need to go have a test. Well, we can't always drop what we're doing and run to Jonesboro. And so we are cognizant of that. We want to make sure that we make this as easy as we possibly can make it. So we have worked on acquiring a couple of different partners in our community. And one of those partners is going to be Access Medical Center. Access Medical Center is at 202 Newsom Drive, which is right over by Armor Bank. They have agreed to serve as one of our 2 community partners for testing. You don't need an appointment. It can be a walk-in. You just have to call ahead of time and let them know what you've got. They'll give you a time to show up, and they will make sure that they fit you into that day's schedule for a test. They have agreed to hold a certain number of tests in reserve for our teachers and faculty, so that will be a huge resource for our community. Now, if you have a pediatrician, you're going to have a referral before they can see you. But given the circumstances, I am certain that doctors' offices will fax them a referral or possibly even call them over the phone and let them know that they will send them that referral. But what we need for you to be able to do is get a test as easily as possible. The phone number for Access Medical Center is 870-358-4355. Our other community partner is going to be the Poinsett County Health Unit, which is located at 102 Liberty Street. They are also going to serve as a testing center for faculty and students. In order to receive a test, you're going to need to notify them by phone that your student will need to be tested. They will schedule a time for you to come. That time, they said they would make it as quick as they possibly could, likely within a couple of hours, maybe within 15 minutes. You can reach Poinsett County Health Unit 870-358-3615. Another item that is covered in our return to learning plan is masks. Now, you already know that we're going to require students in K through 12 to wear masks when social distancing isn't possible. However, what we haven't told you is we have purchased every teacher and every faculty member a lanyard so that they can keep their mask attached at all times. One of our concerns was what's going to happen if kids get their masks mixed up? What if they leave it behind? What if they leave it in the cafeteria? What if they drop it at recess? We're doing everything we can to make sure that kids can keep up with their mask every day and make that as easy as we possibly can. So that lanyard will hopefully help everybody out. It would also be helpful to us if you could start having conversations with your child about how to properly wear masks, the importance of doing so, how to take those masks off. If you're not aware of how to do that, there are tons of resources available, whether it be the CDC, even YouTube has some videos that you can let your child watch on how to take masks off properly. Let your kids know that when they show up for the first day of school, their teachers are going to be in masks. I can't imagine being a little kid and pulling up and seeing everybody be in masks. As a child, I would have been very apprehensive to say the least. And so if you can start having some of those conversations with them, I think that would be helpful. Also, in our return to learning plan, we talk about school supplies. Just a reminder, elementary students will not need to purchase any school supplies except backpacks and water bottles. Now, at the high school, you'll have to purchase your paper, pencils, folders, the things that you'll need, as well as a backpack and water bottle. The water bottles will help us keep students hydrated throughout the day. We can't use water fountains, and so we have water bottle filling stations that students can access throughout the day and keep those filled up. We need those water bottles to be plastic and have the screw-on lids. And so if your student can get a water bottle, we certainly would encourage you to do that. Now, we need those water bottles to be easily identifiable. And don't think that the design of the bottle alone is going to make it identifiable. I promise you that many of our kids will have the exact same water bottle. And so please try to find some way to get their name on that bottle. One of the big questions that we have been facing over the past couple of weeks is, so what will the school district do if an individual tests positive? As many of you know, we have already had a positive test within the past week. Here's what we want for you to know. We've got a protocol in place that we're going to follow that was provided to us by the Department of Health and by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. This protocol spells out exactly what we're supposed to do if we receive that phone call on our hotline that someone has tested positive. After a positive confirmation, our district will refer to seating charts to determine the students who have been within 6 feet for 15 cumulative minutes or longer. You know, that's why we've told you about on the buses, we're going to have seating charts. In the classroom, in the cafeterias, we're going to have seating charts. And talk to your kids about the importance of those seating charts and why we're putting them in place. As we look at these seating charts, that will help us identify a potential close contact. Once we identify our potential close contacts, we will call the ADH, and we will notify the families of those potential close contacts. The ADH will do their own investigation, and they will also reach out to the individuals and let them know if they are in fact a close contact. So the difference in a potential close contact and a close contact: potential is someone that the school identifies as being a possible close contact. A close contact is someone that the ADH will investigate and will let them know if they are in fact that close contact. However, if you are a potential close contact, it is an expectation of the ADH that that person would begin to quarantine. What a quarantine is don't forget, it's 14 days of quarantining yourself, whether it be at home. It's not isolation. But nonetheless, it is 14 days that a student won't be able to come to school. And so we would encourage you to start thinking about that and what that might look like for you and your family. We also, in our return to learning plan, we've got several different things that parents can help us with. As we navigate this, we're grateful that many of you have been involved. You're concerned about the well-being of your child. What we want to be able to do is provide you with some things that you can start doing right now that will help make all students safer. The first is make sure that you discuss the new actions that the school district is taking. Make sure that you discuss those with your student. Let them know how we're working to protect them. Let them know how we're working to protect our staff. You can also teach your kids every day about actions to reduce the spread of germs. Visit with your student concerning the importance of hygiene, hand washing, wearing masks, putting masks on and taking them off properly, keeping that physical distance, just to review all the proper techniques that you can with your child ahead of time. You know, I think it's also important that we provide our kids with truthful information. If you've got questions or concerns about how to talk to your students about COVID-19, if you'll contact us, we can put you in contact with mental health professionals who can help you structure those conversations ahead of time. It can be difficult to have a conversation with a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old about COVID-19. So if you need help with that, let us know. We would also encourage you, make sure your kids are up to date on their vaccines, especially for flu. The one thing that we have continuously seen is the uncertainty of what happens if you are sick with COVID-19 at the same time of having the flu. Is that going to result in a more severe illness? And so make sure that your kids are up to date on their vaccines. We would also encourage you to start developing routines for before and after school. For example, start teaching your kids to pack their items or the items that they're going to need for school in the morning. Talk to them about doing that in the evenings. Make sure that you give them a list of things that they can start packing so that things aren't so hectic in the morning. And that also can help reduce a lot of the stress that kids will face. And in that list of things that they can start packing at night to prepare for the next day, make sure you include the masks and the water bottles. Have a routine for them when they arrive home from school that includes washing their hands, that includes putting their masks in their dirty clothes, things that they'll need to do just in terms of that hygiene so that they're safe and that your family's safe. Make sure that your information is current at the school, emergency contacts, individuals that can pick up your kids. If we call you and tell you we're concerned about your kid having COVID-19, you may not be able to get off work right away. And so make sure that we know who can or can't check your students out from school. And something else that I think is extremely important for us right now, even before we start school, is plan for possible school closures. If you're going to need childcare, if your student's possibly going to be quarantined, if the school closes down for a day, 3 days, 5 days, it might be helpful to make those arrangements now. If a closure happens, it could be pretty quick. So if your child's got a quarantine, you might want to make arrangements with your employer now on the possibility of working from home. You might want to have a couple of babysitters or relatives lined up that can watch your students if we have to close school. Everything that you can do right now to prepare for that will certainly reduce the stress of being in that moment and finding out that students being quarantined or if we're having a school closure for whatever reason. So those are just some of the things that we would encourage you to start putting in place now for your families. That is all we're going to cover this week. I would encourage you, there's a lot more information in our return to learning plan that's going to be posted tomorrow. So I would encourage you to come back tomorrow, read that, share it, talk to your friends about it. If you've got some things that you think we should consider, I would certainly encourage you to email me. And just know that as we receive information, we're going to update that online almost as quickly as we get it. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday. Thanks.